Hello, I'm Guru Scott. Today I'm going to show you how to paint a side cover on a motorcycle. This side cover on this one is matte black, and I had a little accident. I fell over on myself. So fortunately, almost nothing happened except I got some scratches right here and here and here. And since it's a new bike, I want to try to repair this and make it look nice and sort of like new. I actually ordered a new cover, but this is the magneto cover. To replace it, you have to take a bunch of parts and exchange them and realign stuff. And I decided, since it's only surface damage, nothing's dented in or cracked, I'm just going to go ahead and repair it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use painter's tape and tape everywhere around this area to protect it, except the area of interest. Oh, and before I do that, I'm actually going to clean this with 91% isopropyl alcohol to remove any waxes that might be here, waxes or any oils, so I'll have a good painting surface. So I'm going to do that first. I'll be right back. All right, I've taped off the area, just leaving the 2 or 3 little places I want to clean up a little bit. So I got some sandpaper here. It's 400 grit, wet or dry, and I'm going to put some water on it, and I'm just going to very lightly sand these areas. I'm just trying to remove any kind of stuff sticking up, any burrs or anything like that. Just going to sand them very, very gently. Nothing drastic here. So I'm going to sand these areas and wipe it with alcohol again, and I'll be right back. Okay, so at this point what we've done is we wet sanded this area right here, just very lightly. Then I came back and cleaned it with some 91% IPA alcohol. And then I put paper around everything that we don't want to get spray paint on. And I did a little bit of test spray after I've shaken my can. And this is PJ1 Fast Black. It's a high temperature engine and case paint. I got it on Amazon. So now I'm just going to put a light coat on only. And I'm gonna let that dry, and I'll come back tomorrow and I'm gonna wet sand it with a much finer sandpaper. I'm gonna use 1500 grit, and I'll wet sand it very lightly, spray it again, wet sand it again, and I may have to put like 3 coats on it to get it to coat up properly. But the thing is, you don't want it thick, you want it just very, very thin, and you want to clean it up in between sandings so that it looks nice. So we're going to do that, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, we're on day 2, and so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove all of this tape and some of the paper, and I'm going to clean this with IPA really well so that there's no wax or any grease type residue left anywhere on this side cover. And I'm going to tape around the round part, and then I'm going to heat it up slightly with a heat gun. And then, not very hot, just slightly warm. And then I'm going to put a very light coat over the whole thing here so that we can blend it in. And then once that coat has gotten tacky after about 45 minutes, I will put on a real light second coat, and hopefully that should be it. And we'll come back tomorrow and do the finish up work. All right, so I've masked this area off here, and I'm gonna paint this whole cover. So before I do that, I'd already cleaned it with some alcohol, but I'm going to put some alcohol in here and take some 1500 grit sandpaper and just lightly wet sand the areas that I want to paint, which is the whole thing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it dry. I'll wipe it with alcohol again. I'll let it dry. And then I will put a couple of coats of paint on it. So we'll do that. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm ready to start painting here. So I'm going to use my heat gun just to slightly warm up the area because it's about 70 degrees out right now. And I want to slightly warm it up. I'm not going to try to make it hot or anything. Just going to make it just a little warm to the touch so that the paint will stick better. So I'm going to do this for about a minute, and then we'll put our first coat on. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I warmed this up slightly. Now I'm going to start putting my first initial light coat and it's got to be just really light. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry for a few minutes and we'll come out and put on a second coat. Probably end up putting like 3 coats, but if you put it on really light, you can keep it from running that way. So we'll be right back. Okay, the first coat has gotten a little dried, so I'm gonna try putting on a second coat now. Okay, and I think that's about as much as I'm going to get on without it running. So I'll let that dry for a little while, and I'll put one more coat on, and that should probably do it. So we'll be right back. All right, coat number 3. Okay, and hopefully we'll let this dry, and hopefully that should do it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry, and then after a day or so I'll pull all this off. And since this is heat resistant paint made for the engine, I'll take the bike out for a ride, and then I'll come home and we'll do some further preparation on this, and we'll see how it comes out. So we'll be right back. Okay, I painted this 2 days ago, and I've driven it around a few times, and now I'm ready to do my final things to prepare it. What I have here is a damp cloth, and I'm going to put just a little bit of polishing compound on it, and I'm going to polish this very lightly. Don't want to push very hard. All I'm trying to do is just get rid of any dust that was there, anything like that, make it blend in a little better. Go in circular motions, just like this. You're not going to do a whole lot of polishing. And I'm going to try to get it to be the same sheen as this other part here. So I'm going to do that for a couple of minutes. I'm going to clean it with water really well, and then I'm going to wax it. So I'll be right back, and I'll show you the final waxing here in a minute. Okay, so at this point we've rubbed it with polishing compound very lightly. We've removed it all. And right now I'm going to put a little bit of Meguiar's wax on. And I don't know, if you don't polish your cases with wax, that's okay, because some people do, some people don't. I like to keep all my stuff waxed. So what I'm going to do is wax it, let it dry, wipe it off, and then we will look at the finished result and see what you think. Hopefully it'll be nearly perfect. All right, so I'll be right back. All right, so now I finished waxing it, and this was the original paint. This is the new paint in here. And the blend from my angle looks just about perfect. Looks like the same kind of matte. Looks like the same color. Everything looks good. So I'm real happy with this job. I did leave one minor flaw in there. I had a piece of debris that when I painted it, I should have sanded out, but I didn't. But overall, I'm real pleased with the job, and so thanks for watching.